Good morning. First day after summit, and we're gonna head down. A bunch of us walk down and get some breakfast, and then go catch the bus at 9 o'clock. So we'll start showing you the adventure of getting home. We're on the bus heading to Bangor, out of Nandocket, on our way. All right, leaving the Bangor bus terminal, heading down to Portland. All right, well, welcome back. I'm here outside of Portland, Maine. You can see I got all shaved up and I look like a little kid now. And I've obviously, you can see all the weight I've lost. But here are my neighbors from Florida at their place in Maine. It's beautiful this morning. Actually getting ready to catch the bus down to Boston Logan to finally see Piper. She comes in a half hour after I get there. And then we're gonna spend the day in Boston and catch the train tomorrow morning home to Florida. So super excited to finally see her again. And it's been nice being here, excuse me, last day and a half just relaxing. But now it's time to get on the bus and get going. All right, on the bus on the way to Boston Logan. Get to see Piper here in about 3 hours. All right, I'm at Boston Logan, and Piper's flight got delayed, but she will be here in about 45 minutes. So now I'm walking down to her terminal to get ready to see her in a minute. All right, here comes Piper. So yeah, out of all the beautiful things on the trail, there's definitely nothing more beautiful than what you're gonna see here in a second. All right, we're on the train. And right now, we're the only ones here. We're in Rhode Island, just passing through the marinas. We're passing through Connecticut. All right, we made it to New York City Station here. We're at Penn Station, and I've got about an hour and a half to wait for our next ride, and that one gets us all the way home. Well, we're almost home, Jacksonville, Florida. You can see outside the train, and they're fueling the train here and redoing the water, putting more water in the train, and so yeah, it's nice to be hot again because it's hot here. So it's what time is it? Almost 10 o'clock. So we've got like 7 more hours, and we'll be at West Palm. So but we're in Florida. Good morning. This is Half Mile back with you from sunny Florida, all clean shaven, and trying to put some weight back on after the trail. So I've been home about week and a half now. No, been home a week. Yeah, I finished about a week and a half ago. So thought I'd do a quick lessons learned. I have 20 points that I was going to go over, although a lot of them kind of tied together. So let's get started. So first one I had was train before you start. So when I talk about training, I'm talking about mentally and physically. Just like I've talked about in other videos in the past. It's important to have your body ready to go, but also have the mind ready. The mind is the most important part because it's hard. You know, you're out there day in, day out, walking, working, and hiking, and all kinds of environments, and your body will get used to it eventually, but the mind every day is a choice to continue. So and it just makes it easier, especially physically. If you already have your muscles and joints and ligaments ready to go, it's just easier on your body when you start. So I recommend training before you get to the trail. Second, make a plan for your first 7 days and stick to it. And what I mean by that is make a conscious plan on like your mileage. Let's say you want to do 10 miles a day. Stick to that. Set up where you want to go and stick to that. So it doesn't matter if it's raining or it's sunny or whatever. Just don't push too many miles, but stick to a plan. The biggest reason for that is it lets you start to adjust to the trail. By doing that, also, you make sure that you're not putting too many miles in, because you're like, oh, I feel great today, I'm going to do 25 miles, and you're like day 3 on trail. And then by day 5, you're off trail because you've already injured yourself. I saw a lot of people do that, just pushing too many miles, and then 2 weeks into it, they're basically done because they've already injured themselves, or their body's starting to feel that fatigue already. So make a plan for the first week, stick to it. Number 3, that plan though, if you make more than that 7 days, it's gonna change. And even in that 7 days, it's probably gonna change. I'm a planner, so for me, I made a general plan for the whole trail. Going into it knowing that probably after day like 2 or 3, it's gonna change, and it did. By the end of the second week, that plan was out the window. It was a good guide, but it gave me something to keep my mind focused on while I was prepping for the trail here at home before I got actually to the trail. So if you make a plan, it's going to change. Along with the beginning is pack less food than you think you're going to need. One thing I see most people do on trail, and I know for sure I'm guilty of this, is I always pack too much for that first week or two. As far as food goes, because I think I'm going to need it all. And for me, the first couple weeks I had to force myself to eat, because your body's getting used to the exercise every single day, and yeah, for me, I just don't eat that much. So a lot of people way overpacking food, and so they were carrying for quote unquote 3 or 4 days, and they really had about 9 days worth of food. So probably pack a little less food than you think you're going to need. All right, for number 5, make sure you're eating high protein foods. But there has to be a balance there, right? It can't just be all protein. You definitely need the carbohydrates because you need that slow burner energy. What works for me is I do a lot of protein throughout the day, and then I carb load really hard at nighttime on trail. And then that way in the morning, I still have those carbs left over to slow burn me in the morning. And that works for me. A lot of people, I know a lot of doctors recommend the opposite: carbs during the day, high protein at night on trail. But you kind of have to figure out what works for your body. But the biggest thing is getting that protein, because you're going to break down a lot of muscle tissue, and so you've really got to have protein. One thing I switched from on the trail was the Cliff bars and things like that to more bodybuilder protein type of bars. I even recommend, and I should have done it, and I definitely do on my next trail, some type of powder, some type of protein, wheat protein powder, at least every other day. So, but make sure you're getting that protein. Number 6 goes right along with that is nutrition is key. So you've got good nutrition. Yeah, you can eat the honey buns, you can eat all the junk. I did too on trail. But you've got to make sure you're getting those greens and things. One thing I did is I took a super green tablet every other day at dinner, and that gave me my whole day's worth of greens on what the nutrients you get out of that. And then in town, I try to eat all the fruit I can and vegetables as well. As well as the proteins, the hamburgers or whatever meats I can get my hands on. But you gotta know your body, know your nutrition, and don't change that all on trail. So start adjusting that before you go. Start figuring out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Maybe not eat all the honey buns and things, but if you're gonna change and start using a super green like I did, make sure your body can tolerate that before you get out to trail, and then all of a sudden now you got a problem or you're sick or whatever. Number 7, get yourself into a sleep routine. This is so important on trail. It's so important in life in general, but especially on trail, is get into a sleep routine. My sleep normally 6:30, 7 o'clock, I'm in my tent going to sleep. 5 o'clock, I'm awake. Now as I got north and the sun was up earlier, now I was up at 4, hiking at 5, but same routine every day. Make sure you're getting that sleep. So important because you're just exercising all day long on trail. The body has to be able to recover. The only way it can do that is during your sleep period. All right, let's switch gears a little bit to number 8, which is spend more of your money on quality gear over quantity of gear. Quality of your gear, yeah, the ultralight stuff is expensive, and really good quality gear is expensive. Spend that quality and spend your money on that quality that's going to last you over the quantity that you can go buy maybe at Walmart, but you can buy a bunch of stuff. I highly recommend buying the quality, especially on your big 3. So your tent, your sleep system, your backpack. Spend the money. I also add number 4 to that list, which is your shoes. Spend the money on good shoes. Your feet, you have to take care of them. So you're on them all day long, every day. So spend good money on your shoes. Number 9. So this is one that you'll see right off the bat. Don't listen to the fearmongers out there on the trail. You hear from day 1, people already start talking about the whites when they're going northbound on day 1. Or they're starting to talk about this or that, whatever. What I think is hard, you may think is easier, or vice versa. Number 10, on the AT, this is AT very specific, be prepared for lots of rainy days. You are going to walk all day in the rain many days. That's the truth on the East Coast, especially if you start later in the spring. That's just how it works. So be prepared for the rain. With that, going right along with that is you have to take care of your feet. So when they're dry or wet, but when they're wet especially, you have to let your feet air out at some point throughout the day to let them start to harden back up and keep those calluses once you get them, so you don't get the blisters and you don't get all the trench rot and all the problems that come with wet socks, wet shoes all day long. And then definitely when you get to camp, try to dry your stuff out. Number 12, keep your body clean, because this helps with chafing, helps with a lot of other problems. So what I do is I carry just enough baby wipes to get me through each resupply basically. And I use 2 baby wipes per day to clean myself, give myself a little shower in my tent. And that works for me, especially in your toes, keeping those clean, groin areas, all the places that might chafe, keep those areas clean. Because the dirt and the salt is actually what creates the chafing as your body rubs together. So the cleaner you can keep yourself, the better. Number 13, listen to your body. Your body is going to hurt. If you thru hike, your body's gonna hurt. There's no question about it. So listen to it. When it's starting to break down, and if you watch my AT videos, I had a knee hurting me for almost a month, and then that kind of went away, but then the top of my right foot started hurting, and I had to take a 0 day because I got to a point where I was like, okay, it's getting bad enough where if I don't, it's going to really start affecting my hike in a negative way. So you've got to listen to your body, and you're going to push it, but also you can't break it. So you got to listen to it and take care of yourself while you're out there. One thing that I think for me was very hard on trail, and it's always hard on all the trails, is to say yes. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people going to want to help you on trail, as far as the trail angels and other hikers and things like that, and being open to that and taking that opportunity to say yes instead of, oh, no thanks, or this or that. Take those opportunities, yeah, sure, I'll take a ride, or yes, I will, I will take that food even though maybe I just ate. Now I'm not saying take all of it, but sit down and talk with a trail ranger for a while. Keeping that open mind and saying yes. I think a lot of us have that harder time to do that on trail than we think. And I know I'm really bad about that. A lot of times I just want to, oh, no thanks. Give it to the next guy instead of just sitting down and say, yeah, oh yeah, thanks, okay, yeah, I'll have an apple or whatever, or a candy bar, and just sit down and chat. So let those doors, when they open, walk in them. Okay, so this is one specific to the AT as well, is don't spend all your money in the South when you're going northbound. It's easy to do because you're excited on the trail. You're stopping at all the hostels when you get on trail. You really want to get moving. You want to, start to meet people on the trail and this and that. And you want to go out to the restaurants, and then maybe you want to have a beer, and it's real easy to spend a lot of money in the South. But you have to remember, the further north you go, the more expensive everything costs. So let's say a hostel is $20 for a bunk down here in Georgia. By the time you get up to Maine, that bunk is $50 or $45 or $40. Same with the grocery stores. You might only be spending $50 a week on your resupply. And I can tell you for a fact, in Maine, I was spending just over $100 a week in resupply because things are expensive. So watch your budget, make a budget, and don't spend all your money in the South. So I kind of alluded to this earlier, but for me, the whites were tough, but they're not as hard as I thought they were. And what I mean by that is a lot of it is the weather, right? You gotta watch the weather up there. It's tough. They're big mountains because you haven't hit any big mountains since the Smokies, and the Smokies are a little more gradual. But there again, just listen to your body, do what you can, make a plan for, what I do is I make a plan in the morning and I deviate from that throughout the day. But the whites are not something to be scared of like a lot of people are as they're hiking the trail. And honestly, I didn't even think about the whites until I got there. Along with the trails, I'm a big believer that every part of the trail has its good and bad. Every state has its good and bad. There's so much variety on the trail. So, as you're going along, enjoy the moment you're at, and the state you're at, and the part of the trail you're in. People talk about the Virginia blues. I don't understand what that is because I didn't get that, because every part of Virginia had its good and bad. Going into the northern part, up by Harper's Ferry, was phenomenal. Damascus was phenomenal. Like I said, I didn't really like the roller coaster section, but that's me. I know a lot of people that hiked around me that did. So just take every word for what it is. Number 18, some point you're gonna want to quit, and you're probably gonna try to quit. Just remember, don't quit on a bad day, because you're gonna have bad days on trail. Don't quit on those days. So take it one day at a time. Take it one step at a time. There was probably a week where I was talking to Piper that I really wanted to quit, and that was probably the New York, Jersey, around that area. And she kind of talked me up that ledge, and and reminded me why I'm out there and what I'm doing, and and focus on those things. And don't ever quit on a bad day. If you want to quit on a good day, you're having a great day, and you go, you know what, I'm done, I'm satisfied, cool, good on you. But if you quit on a bad day because you're having a hard 1 day or 2 days, that's really hard to live with when you get off trail. Number 19, live in the moment. I've already talked about this already, but live in the moment on trail, because there's a lot of trail to come. Even at the end, I think it's easier to live in the moment when you get to Maine, because the end's coming. But halfway, it feels like you've got a long, you're looking to the end, but a lot of people forget about looking right now, today, and enjoying what's around you every day. And finally, number 20, and I know it's the cliche, you're gonna laugh, but yeah, hike your own hike. I say hike your hike. The reason I say it that way is because I'm a big believer of, you're out there for your reasons. I hiked with, most of you know, with Scrappy and Butterfly for about 1,000 miles of the trail, and I lost a little bit of myself hiking with them and the way I've hiked other trails. Not to say it was bad, I really enjoyed hiking with them, but also once I started hiking by myself again, I realized why I love so much hiking by myself, and the fact that I'm truly just going on by my flow each day, stopping and going where I want. Everybody's got to hike the way they want, and you have to enjoy that. Don't let others influence you on hiking their hike, because they're gonna hike their hike, but you've got to be able to do it the way you want to do it. So, all right, well, as always, thanks for watching. That's my top 2020 lessons learned for Appalachian Trail 2022. Thanks for watching again, and this is Half Mile. I'm out.